Too many people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They think they need to feel inspired, to be in the right mood, to have everything perfectly lined up before they can start. But that's exactly why most people never reach their full potential, because they rely on something as fleeting as motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It's inconsistent. It comes and goes like the wind, unpredictable and out of your control. One day you wake up feeling like you can conquer the world, and the next you don't even want to get out of bed. If your success depends on how you feel in the moment, you will never achieve anything great. Because the truth is, your feelings will betray you. They will talk you out of the work. They will tell you it's okay to skip today, to take a break, to do it later. And if you listen to them, you will fall into the same cycle that has kept you stuck for years. Now let me ask you, how many times have you told yourself you'd start something and then quit halfway through? How many times have you started a workout plan, a new habit, a project, only to stop the moment the excitement wore off? This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is the thing that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. It's what keeps you moving forward when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's what gets you to the gym on the days you don't feel like going. It's what makes you sit down and grind even when your mind is screaming for a break. Discipline isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. It's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just like in the gym, where you don't build muscle by doing what's easy, you don't build discipline by only taking action when you feel good, you build it by showing up day after day, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Think about the most successful people in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on habits. They rely on structure. They rely on a standard they refuse to break. The best athletes don't wake up every morning excited to train. The best business leaders don't always feel like making hard decisions, but they do it anyway. Why? Because they've built a foundation of discipline that doesn't waver. The biggest lie people tell themselves is that they need motivation to start. No. You start, and then motivation follows. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. The moment you take the first step, even when you don't feel like it, you start building momentum. And that momentum fuels you, it keeps you going. But you have to be the one to ignite it. This is why discipline is so powerful. It puts you in control. When you rely on motivation, you're at the mercy of your emotions. But when you build discipline, you take full command of your actions. You decide how your day will go, not your feelings. You decide whether or not you'll put in the work, not your mood. But here's the catch. Discipline isn't easy. It's hard to push through when everything inside you is screaming to stop. It's hard to stay consistent when no one is watching, when there's no immediate reward, when progress feels slow. That's where most people give up. They think discipline means they'll never feel resistance, that it should become effortless. But the truth is, discipline is about doing it despite the resistance. There will always be days where you don't feel like showing up. There will always be moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. And in those moments, your success is determined by one simple question. Will you push through or will you give in? The difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't some magic formula. It's consistency. And consistency is built on discipline. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. The more you force yourself to do the hard things, the easier they become. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they're incapable, but because they quit when things get hard. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect level of motivation that will never come, and so they stay stuck. But if you can break that cycle, if you can force yourself to push past the resistance, to build discipline that isn't tied to how you feel in the moment, you will become unstoppable. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. The effort you put in today makes tomorrow easier. The actions you take now, even when you don't feel like it, build the habits that shape your future, and before you know it, you're no longer fighting to stay consistent. It's just who you are. Success is not the result of one massive action, one big break, or one life-changing decision. It's the product of what you do every single day. The small, seemingly insignificant actions that most people overlook are the very things that determine whether you will succeed or stay stuck. Look at your life right now, where you are. Your health, your finances, your relationships is a direct reflection of your daily habits. Not what you do once in a while, not what you do when you feel like it, what you do consistently. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They believe success comes from sudden, dramatic efforts, so they chase shortcuts, looking for instant results. They go to the gym for a week, don't see results and quit. They start a business, don't make a profit right away and give up. They read one book and expect to be an expert. But success doesn't work that way. Success is built on habits, and habits are built on repetition. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every time you wake up early and work on your goals, you cast a vote for your future success. Every time you eat healthy, you cast a vote for the body you want. Every time you show up and do the work, even when it's hard, you reinforce the identity of someone who is disciplined, focused, and committed. The problem is most people don't see immediate results from their habits, so they assume they don't matter. But small actions, repeated consistently, lead to massive outcomes over time. Just like a single drop of water won't fill a glass, a single workout won't make you fit, and a single productive day won't make you successful. But if you keep showing up, if you keep stacking those habits, one day you'll look around and realize you've built something incredible. The key is to stop focusing on the end result and start focusing on the process. Instead of obsessing over how far you have to go, focus on what you can do today. You don't need to see the entire staircase, just need to take the first step, and then the next, and then the next. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours in the day than you do. They don't have superpowers. They simply have habits that align with their goals. They wake up and follow a system. They don't waste time deciding whether or not they should work out, they just do it because it's part of their routine. They don't negotiate with themselves about whether or not they should work on their business. They just execute because that's who they are. Your habits should be non-negotiables. Just like brushing your teeth or taking a shower, they should become part of your daily routine. Something you don't question, something you don't put off, something you just do. Most people struggle with consistency because they set their goals too high, too fast. They try to change everything overnight and end up overwhelmed. They say, I'm going to go to the gym every single day for 2 hours, but by day 3, they're exhausted. They say, I'm going to read a book a week, but by the second week, they've already fallen behind. The key to lasting change isn't making huge, dramatic shifts. It's making small, sustainable improvements that you can stick with. Start with something simple. If you want to get in shape, commit to just 5 minutes of exercise a day. If you want to build a reading habit, start with just 1 page. It's not about the intensity, it's about the consistency. Because once a habit is built, you can always increase the effort. But if you try to do too much too soon and burn out, you won't last. Another key factor in building powerful habits is environment. Your environment shapes your behavior more than you realize. If you surround yourself with distractions, you'll be distracted. If you surround yourself with people who are unmotivated, but if you design your environment for success, if you keep your workout clothes next to your bed, if you set up your workspace to be free of distractions, If you spend time with people who push you to be better, you will make consistency. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If you don't have a system that makes good habits easy and bad habits difficult, you'll always struggle with consistency. But if you build a routine that supports your success, if you set up systems that keep you on track, if you create an environment that reinforces positive behaviors, success will become automatic. One of the biggest reasons people fail to build good habits is because they rely too much on willpower. They think they need to force themselves to be disciplined every single day. But willpower is like a battery. It drains over time. The more decisions you have to make, the weaker your self-control becomes. That's why the most successful people remove the need for willpower by turning their habits into automatic behaviors. When something is a habit, it no longer requires effort. You don't have to think about whether or not you should do it. You just do it. That's the goal, to turn the things that lead to success into daily, automatic behaviors that become part of your identity. Every day you have two choices: to take an action that moves you closer to your goals, or to take an action that pulls you further away. Every small decision matters. Every small action counts. Over time, they add up. And before you know it, those tiny, seemingly insignificant habits have shaped your entire destiny. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They hit the snooze button instead of waking up early. They skip workouts because they don't feel like exercising. They procrastinate on their goals because they'd rather be entertained than put in the work. But here's the truth: discomfort is the price of success. Nothing worth having comes without struggle. Nothing great is built in comfort. If you want to grow, if you want to achieve something extraordinary, you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. Think about the strongest, most resilient people in the world. The ones who dominate in business, sports, and life. Do you think they got there by staying in their comfort zone? No. They got there because they pushed through discomfort, they faced challenges head on, and they refused to take the easy way out. The problem is that most people have been conditioned to avoid discomfort. We live in a world that promotes convenience, ease, and instant gratification. Fast food, instant entertainment, same-day delivery. Everything is designed to make life easier. But success doesn't come from what's easy. It comes from doing the things that others are unwilling to do. Discomfort is the test. It's the filter that separates those who achieve from those who only dream. The moment you feel resistance, the moment your mind starts telling you to quit, that's the exact moment you must lean in instead of pulling away, because that's where growth happens. Think about going to the gym. When do your muscles grow? Not when you lift light weights that feel easy. Not when you stop as soon as you feel tired. Your muscles grow when you push through resistance, when you struggle, when you go past the point where most people stop. That's when your body adapts and becomes stronger. Your mind works the same way. Growth doesn't happen when you avoid hard things. It happens when you push through, when you do the work even when you don't feel like it, when you keep going even when everything inside you is screaming to stop. The problem is, most people quit the moment things get tough. They start something new, maybe a fitness plan, a business, or a personal goal. And in the beginning, they feel excited. Motivation is high. Everything feels possible. But then discomfort sets in. The workouts get harder. The results don't come as fast as they expected. The excitement wears off. And instead of pushing through, they quit. But this is where the real transformation happens. If you can train yourself to push through discomfort, to keep going when it gets hard, you will develop a level of mental toughness that most people will never achieve. And once you develop that toughness, there is nothing you can't do. The key is to change the way you view discomfort. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, see it as a sign that you're on the right path. When you feel resistance, when you feel struggle, when you feel like quitting, that's proof that you are growing. Rewire your mind to crave discomfort. Seek out challenges. Put yourself in difficult situations on purpose. Take cold showers. Wake up earlier than you want to. Push yourself harder than you think you can. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more resilient you become. And the more resilient you become, the easier it is to handle anything life throws at you. The biggest breakthroughs in life come from doing what's hard. Think about the moments in your life when you experienced the most growth. Were they moments of ease and comfort, or were they moments of struggle and adversity? Growth happens in the struggle. Strength is built in the hard times. Most people think the key to success is talent or intelligence. But in reality, it's grit. It's your ability to push through when most people quit. It's your ability to endure discomfort and keep moving forward no matter what. The best part? Discomfort is temporary. It feels unbearable in the moment, but it always passes. The workout that feels impossible, it ends. The difficult conversation you don't want to have, it ends. The early morning wake-up call, it ends. But the results, the strength you build, the growth you experience, that lasts forever. Think about an ice cube sitting in a freezing room. At 25 degrees, nothing happens. At 26 degrees, nothing happens. At 27, 28, 29 degrees, still nothing. But then at 32 degrees, everything changes. The ice starts to melt. Was it just that final degree that made the difference? No, it was every single degree leading up to it. But most people quit at 29 degrees. They stop when they don't see immediate results. They walk away before the breakthrough happens. This is why embracing discomfort is so important. The days when you don't feel like working out, but do it anyway. The moments when you feel exhausted, but keep pushing forward. The times when doubt creeps in, but you refuse to quit. Those are the moments that change your life. If you can learn to lean into discomfort instead of running from it, you will develop a level of resilience that will make you unstoppable. You will become the person who keeps going when others quit. The person who does what others won't. And that is the person who achieves greatness. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to do what it actually takes to achieve it. Not because they don't have the ability, not because they don't have the resources, but because they are unwilling to do something crucial: master the boring work. The truth is, success isn't glamorous. It's not exciting 24/7. It's not filled with constant breakthroughs, motivation, or massive progress every single day. Success is built on repetition, routine, and relentless execution of the fundamentals. And guess what? That's boring. This is why most people fail. They start something new, a fitness plan, a business, a skill, and at first they're excited. The energy is high, motivation is through the roof, and everything feels possible. But then something happens. They realize that real progress comes from doing the same things over and over again, from showing up every day and putting in the reps, from following the plan even when it's not exciting. And that's when they start looking for a way out. They convince themselves they need something new, a new strategy, a new workout, a new business idea. They chase novelty instead of mastery. And because of that, they never stick with anything long enough to see real results. The ones who succeed, they master the boring work. Think about the greatest athletes in the world. The best basketball players spend hours every single day practicing free throws, dribbling, running drills they've done 1,000,000 times. The best musicians play the same scales over and over again. The best writers write every single day, even when they don't feel like it. It's not about excitement, it's about consistency. The problem is, most people are addicted to quick results. They want the six-pack, but they don't want to do the same exercises every day for months. They want the $1 million business, but they don't want to make 100 sales calls a day. They want to be an expert, but they don't want to put in the thousands of hours of practice required. The reality, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And your habits? They're built in the trenches of repetition. It's easy to stay disciplined when things are new and exciting. The real test is whether you can stay disciplined when it's dull, when it's tedious, when it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over again without seeing huge results. That's where most people quit. But that's also where success is built. You must fall in love with the process, not just the results. You must find satisfaction in the daily grind, in the routine, in the execution of small, seemingly insignificant tasks that over time lead to massive outcomes. This is where mental toughness comes in. The ability to wake up every day and do the work even when it's the same work you did yesterday. Even when it feels like progress is slow. Even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because you know that every rep, every step, every repetition is building something greater. It's like chopping down a tree. You swing the axe and nothing happens. You swing again, still nothing. 10 swings, 20 swings, 100 swings, and the tree still stands. Most people give up. They assume it's not working. They think they need a different approach. But what they don't realize is that every single swing was making an impact. Then one day the tree falls, not because of that final swing, but because of every single one that came before it. Mastering the boring work is about trusting the process. It's about understanding that the results will come, but only if you stay consistent. Most people spend their lives chasing shortcuts, constantly looking for a faster way to get where they want to go. But shortcuts lead to nowhere. The ones who win are the ones who commit to the fundamentals. Look at the greatest businesses in the world. They don't reinvent themselves every day. They find what works and they execute it with ruthless consistency. They focus on the fundamentals: customer service, product quality, marketing. And they do them better than anyone else. Look at the best athletes. They don't wake up and decide to try something completely different every day. They master their craft by doing the same workouts, the same drills, the same movements over and over again. Look at the most successful people in any industry. They're not the ones constantly bouncing from idea to idea. They are the ones who pick something and stick with it until they master it. This is the secret to success that most people don't want to hear. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about finding the perfect strategy. It's about whether or not you can show up and do the work every single day, even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because if you can do that, if you can train yourself to fall in love with the process, to embrace the repetition, to stick with something long enough to see real progress, then there is nothing you cannot achieve. Success is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. Your mind is the battleground where everything is won or lost. If you don't control your mind, if you don't train it to work for you instead of against you, nothing else matters. You can have all the best strategies, all the best plans, all the best resources, but if your mind is working against you, you'll sabotage yourself before you even start. Most people lose in their minds before they ever take action. They let doubt creep in, they let fear control them, they convince themselves they're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, and because they believe it, they act accordingly. The mind is powerful. It will find evidence for whatever you believe. If you believe you're not capable, your brain will search for proof. Every failure, every mistake, every time someone doubted you. If you believe you're unstoppable, your brain will find evidence for that too. Every win, every moment of progress, every time you proved yourself wrong. This is why you have to guard your mind. You have to be ruthless about what thoughts you allow to take root. Because your thoughts become your actions, and your actions determine your results. Most people wait for confidence before they take action. They think, once I feel ready, once I feel motivated, once I feel certain, then I'll go all in. But that's not how it works. Action comes first, confidence comes later. If you sit around waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel motivated, waiting to feel like the time is right, you'll be waiting forever. Because the truth is, you will never feel 100% ready. You will never feel fearless. You will never feel like everything is lined up perfectly. The only way to build confidence is to take action, despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty. Every time you push through, every time you do something hard, every time you refuse to let fear control you, you build an unshakable belief in yourself. Think about when you first learned to drive a car. At first, it felt overwhelming. You had to think about every little movement, where to put your hands, when to hit the gas, when to brake, how to check your mirrors. It felt unnatural, maybe even scary. But over time, with practice, it became second nature. You didn't have to think about it anymore. Confidence works the same way. The more you do something, the less scary it becomes. The more you push through discomfort, the more resilient you become. The more you take action, the more belief you build. The biggest battle you will ever fight is the one inside your own mind. And the way to win that battle is through discipline and repetition. You have to train your mind like you train a muscle. If you go to the gym and lift weights every day, your body adapts. You get stronger. You build endurance. But if you stop training, your strength fades. Your muscles weaken. Your muscles will be weak tomorrow than they were. You went to bed and you woke up tomorrow. Your mind works the same way. If you feed it positivity, if you challenge it with difficult tasks, if you force it to push past fear and doubt, it will get stronger. You will become mentally tough. You will become resilient. But if you let negativity take over, if you constantly give in to fear, if you allow excuses to dictate your actions, your mind will weaken. You will condition yourself to quit when things get hard. You will build the habit of giving up. Most people let their minds control them instead of the other way around. They wake up and immediately react to their emotions. They feel tired, so they skip the workout. They feel unmotivated, so they don't work on their goals. They feel scared, so they don't take action. But high achievers, they control their minds. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They wake up and execute no matter how they feel. Your feelings are temporary, but your habits are permanent. If you let emotions drive your actions, you will never be consistent. But if you learn to separate your emotions from your actions, if you learn to show up and do the work no matter what, that's when you become unstoppable. One of the best ways to train your mind is through self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter. They shape your beliefs. They determine your confidence. They dictate your actions. Most people talk to themselves in a way they would never talk to a friend. They beat themselves up. They say things like, I'm not good enough, I'll never figure this out, I always fail. And then they wonder why they struggle. You have to rewire the way you talk to yourself. Start telling yourself a different story. Say, I am disciplined. I am strong. I am capable. I will figure this out. I always show up no matter what. At first, it might feel fake, it might feel unnatural, but just like training a muscle, repetition is key. The more you say it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you act accordingly. Another way to strengthen your mind is to reframe how you see challenges. Most people see obstacles as signs to stop. They think struggle means they're on the wrong path. But struggle is proof that you're growing. It's proof that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. Every challenge is an opportunity to build resilience. Every setback is a chance to prove to yourself that you don't quit. Every moment of doubt is a test. Will you let it control you, or will you push through? Your mind is like a battlefield. Every day you are either winning or losing the war against fear, doubt, and excuses. You have to choose every single day to take control, to think in a way that serves you, to act in a way that aligns with your goals. Because if you don't control your mind, it will control you. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who fall short is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It's identity. It's how they see themselves. It's the standards they hold for who they are and what they do. Most people approach success as if it's an external achievement, something they have to chase, something they have to earn, something separate from who they are. But the truth is, success isn't something you achieve. It's something you become. You must develop an identity of discipline. You must become the kind of person who does what needs to be done no matter what. Not because you feel like it, not because you're motivated, but because it's simply who you are. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions follow. When you identify as someone who is consistent, showing up every day is no longer a question. It's a habit. It's part of you. Most people fail because they don't change their identity. They try to change their behavior, but deep down, they still see themselves as someone who struggles with discipline, as someone who procrastinates, as someone who starts and stops without following through. You can't outperform your identity. If you believe you're lazy, you'll act lazy. If you believe you're inconsistent, you'll act inconsistent. But if you shift your identity, if you tell yourself, I am disciplined, I am relentless, I am the type of person who does the work no matter what, your actions will align with that belief. Think about someone who is truly fit. They don't force themselves to work out every day. They don't constantly battle with motivation. They simply see themselves as a fit person, and their actions reflect that identity. Think about a successful entrepreneur. They don't wake up wondering if they should work on their business today. They don't negotiate with themselves about whether they feel like putting in the effort. They are an entrepreneur. It's who they are. Work is not optional. This is where most people go wrong. They focus on the outcome they want instead of the person they need to become. They say, I want to lose weight instead of saying, I am the type of person who eats healthy and trains every day. They say, I want to be successful instead of saying, I am the type of person who works relentlessly toward my goals. When you change your identity, everything else follows. The key to developing an identity of discipline is proof. Your brain needs evidence. You can't just tell yourself you're disciplined. You have to prove it to yourself over and over again until it becomes undeniable. That proof comes from your actions. Every time you do what you said you would do, every time you show up when you don't feel like it, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build your identity. It's not about motivation. It's about habits. Every small action is a vote for the person you want to become. Every morning you wake up early and get to work is a vote for being disciplined. Every time you push through discomfort is a vote for being relentless. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, is a vote for the version of yourself that doesn't quit. The problem is most people do the opposite. They cast votes for the identity they don't want. Every time they hit snooze, every time they skip the workout, every time they put things off, they reinforce the belief that they are inconsistent, that they don't follow through, that they are not the type of person who gets things done. But the good news? Your identity is always under construction. You can shift it at any time. You can decide right now that you are someone who is disciplined, that you are someone who takes action, that you are someone who does whatever it takes. And once that identity is locked in, discipline becomes effortless. You no longer need motivation because your standards are set. You no longer need willpower because your actions are automatic. This is why the most successful people don't rely on motivation. Motivation fades, willpower runs out, but identity lasts. To make this shift, you need rules. You need personal standards that are non-negotiable. Maybe that means you never skip workouts, no matter how busy you are. Maybe that means you wake up at the same time every day, no matter how you feel. Maybe that means you commit to working on your goals for a set amount of time every single day. No excuses. When you have rules, you eliminate decision fatigue. You no longer waste energy debating whether or not to do something. You just do it because that's who you are. This is what separates the best from everyone else. Most people only do the work when it's convenient, when they feel like it, when the conditions are perfect. But the greats, they do the work no matter what. Rain or shine, tired or energized, inspired or not. And over time, that discipline compounds. That consistency builds unstoppable momentum. And that's when you become truly dangerous. Because you no longer need motivation to take action. You don't need inspiration. You don't need external validation. You don't need a perfect plan. You just execute because it's who you are.